found a tube, and the minute I opened it, the smell transported me through time.
Oh no, Girl Scouts Markled. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Matthew Carey writes in Deadline, the 2026 Sundance documentary lineup will feature a royal flourish. Will it? Well, what you're about to witness is the typical parasitic behaviour of the narcissist. Listen in. Deadline has learned the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Prince Harry and this one's wife, in case you'd forgotten that's who they are, will executive produce Cookie Queens, a coming-of-age story about the joys, pressures and pain points woven into one of America's most cherished rituals, Girl Scout cookie season. Whoopie-fucking-doo. The couple's Archwell Productions, i.e., the utilisation of other people's money, but once again, the Sussex is taking credit for it, is partnering with Beautiful Stories and AJNA Films on the documentary, which premieres in the festival's Family Matinee section. Alicia Nahimias, Art and Crimes by Crimes, Unfinished Spaces, directs the film, producing alongside Michael Dweck and Gregory Kershaw. They'd done The Truffle Hunters and Gaucho Gaucho, and Jennifer Sims. Captivating, candid, and full of heart, the film follows 4 girls aged 5 to 12 and their families as they navigate the annual whirlwind of selling, striving, and succeeding, notes a description of Cookie Queens. For these Girl Scouts, selling cookies isn't just about thin mints and sisterhood, it's a crash course in entrepreneurship. Behind the smiles and cookie boxes lie real pressure, long hours, ambitious sales goals, and the weight of high expectations. Nahimas creates a bold, vibrant, observational portrait that honours the girls' perspectives and illuminates the emotional and intellectual stakes of their experiences. Well, how about that? So this one's wife presumably is looking for some tips from the Girl Scouts as to how to sell things, given the fact that she's absolutely useless at doing it herself. But there's more. The report tells us, long before she became a member of the British royal family, this one's wife donned the Girl Scouts vest. Of course she did, because there's nothing she hasn't done. Participating in that annual rite of selling boxes of cookies to fundraise for the group. As a former Girl Scout myself, well, naturally, we need to be talking about you, don't we, this one's wife. Not the film itself, not the process of its production, not eschewing the values of the Girl Scout movement. No, let's talk about you. So what's the first words that come out of her as she flaps her gums? As a former Girl Scout myself, with my mum as my troop leader, triangulation, I have a personal affinity for this film, and I am proud that all our conversations and collaboration have led to Archwell Productions partnering with this award-winning team to executive produce this incredibly captivating documentary. This one's wife, Duchess of Sussex, shared. In a statement, she said, when we first viewed the early footage of this documentary, it was immediately something we wanted to be involved in. The creative point of view, the edgy yet humanising tone and tenor of the directing, and the glimpse behind the scenes into such a nostalgic and also modern tradition of Girl Scout cookie season are absolutely irresistible. Yeah, she didn't write that bit, somebody else did, but she did write the initial part where she talked about being a former Girl Scout herself. The article tells us there's no word yet on whether this one's wife and Harry plan to attend Sundance. The festival hasn't announced the exact premiere date yet for Cookie Queens. We then hear from the director, and also the director says, proud and excited to share that Prince Harry and this one's wife, Duke and Duchess of Sussex, and the Archwell Productions team are partners in this project as we introduce the stories of these remarkable girls with the world. From our very first conversation, their enthusiasm was unmistakable. This one's wife has a deep personal connection to our film's community as a Girl Scouts alumna. Well, she was a Girl Scout. Don't know how long she was for. To describe it as a deep personal connection is overstating it, but that's the way of the world, isn't it, in relation to this one's wife? It remains to be seen what will happen. They're not the only executive producers, of course. It also includes the following: Regina K. Scully, Haley Edelman, Anne Lunas, Stephen G. Hall, Ruth Ann Harnish, Geraldine Dreyfus, Tegan Acton, Emma Pompetti, James Costa, Trevor Burgess, Sherry Sobrato, Jamie Wolfe, Natalie Seaver, Andrea Van Buren, and Jennifer Pelling. So there's a whole host of people that are executive producers, and essentially all it means is that you've bunged some money that way and your name gets attached to it. It's not even the personal money of this one's wife and Harry. They're using Archwell's money, which of course is taken from donations from other people. So once again, it might be argued, and I think there is force in this argument, that the funds of Archwell are being misappropriated for the personal glorification of this one's wife. Asset appropriation, which demonstrates a lack of boundary recognition and a sense of entitlement, by utilising those funds, but making it seem like it's her generosity, and then piggybacking this donation, this collaboration, to talk, guess what, all about herself. All she's done is use other people's money to make herself look good. Parasitic, both in terms of the use of that money and the attachment to the film itself. She hasn't contributed in any other way. She just gains an association with it because the Girl Scouts movement is naturally a good thing, a wholesome thing, which she can utilise for the purposes of facade management. See, I have used my money, although actually it's Archwell's, because I'm a good person, assisting in relation to a film about good girls doing good things, because after all, I show up and do good. Parasite as ever. I'm the executive producer on 3 films. Yeah, I've invested in them, and my name appears at the end. No, I'm not going to tell you what they are. My reason for involvement was that the content of the film stimulated me, because the content related to Your Glorious Narrator's inner nerd. And as a consequence of that, the particular subject matter was one that I was content to make an investment in relation to these independent productions. But yup, my name appears there in the end credits. For this one's wife, naturally it's driven by the pursuit of the prime aims. But are they now going to be markled? The Sadeem touch appearing once again, whereby anything that this one's wife becomes involved in invariably fails and suffers misfortune. I don't need to repeat them, but there's a long list of instances where this has occurred. And is it the case that the poor old Girl Scouts, or at least this film, are going to find themselves markled by the presence of the Duchess of Delusion? Only time will tell. But what we can say is that once again, this one's wife has utilised funds provided by other people to make herself look good for the purposes of asserting control over the audience, drawing fuel by way of their reactions and management of her facade. A parasite, leeching off other people as ever. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.